Welcome to HistoryPod. On the 26th of June 1974, Sharon Buchanan, a cashier at the Marsh supermarket in Troy, Ohio, scanned the world's first universal product code, better known.
Juicy fruit, modeled off of the, I think it's, what is it called, jackfruit? If you were eating a jackfruit, it's basically just like juicy fruit.
Known as a barcode on a 10-pack of Wrigley's Juicy Fruit gum. Bernard Silver and Norman Joseph Woodland had patented a bullseye-shaped machine-readable code in 1949, but the UPC that was adopted by the ad hoc committee of the Universal Product Identification Code was developed by a team of IBM engineers under George Laurer. The standard rectangular design measures approximately 1.5 inches by 0.9 inches and is made up of black bars and white spaces that represent a sequence of numbers unique to the item it is printed on. The code was to be read by a scanner using a laser beam as a source of light. The black bars would absorb light, while the white space reflected it back to the scanner. The intensity of the reflected light would then be read, and the unique pattern would be deciphered by a computer that would in turn provide pricing information and adjust the stock database to reflect the sale. Such equipment in the 1970s was costly, however, and this meant that the UPC was not widely used by retailers until the 1980s. The checkout equipment used for the first reading of a UPC was built and installed by National Cash Register, a company that was based in Ohio. The selection of a packet of Wrigley's gum by the first customer, Clyde Dawson, from the Research and Development Department of Marsh Supermarket, was also not a coincidence. Despite having many other items in his shopping basket, he picked the chewing gum to demonstrate that it was possible to print a barcode on even the smallest of items. One of the juicy fruit packets from the supermarket used that day is now held by the Smithsonian Museum.
Which directed you to this video in a matter of seconds. This is exactly how barcode works, connecting data archives to you without the need for you to physically travel anywhere. As a technology that provides great convenience, especially in the retail industry, the barcode now has a very important presence in our lives. Now, let's look at the very first type of barcode that was developed, the Universal Product Code, or the UPC. The development of the UPC started when the National Association of Food Chains held a meeting on the idea of an automatic checkout system. After coming up with the Uniform Grocery Product Code, they sent a contact tender to develop a barcode system to print and read the code. The linear barcode, developed by IBM, was selected and was later known as the UPC. The new promising technology was used for the first time in 1974 at Ohio grocery store to scan a pack of chewing gum. The barcode, the first technological breakthrough in food retailing, is based on the principle of symbology, or how information data are encoded in digits or characters.
The barcode can later be scanned by a laser from any angle should the user wants to access the information within it. For commercial uses, the items in stocks are given unique numbers and the numbers are printed on the items as different patterns of linear black and white lines with different widths. Generally, the barcode contains 4 parts. First part, about the country the product was produced. The second, the manufacturer code. The third, information about the product. And the last, the check digit used for error detection. In a simple barcode, the scanning devices read these lines as the scanning head shines laser light onto the barcode, detecting which areas are black and which areas are white. While the scanner reads across the barcode, on and off pulses will be created where black corresponds to off or how it reflects less light and white corresponds to on or how it reflects more light. These patterns are then converted to binary digits of zeros and ones by the electronic circuit. These binary digits will be received by the computer like this, which will direct users to the product information such as price.
As you can see, the UPC stores huge amounts of data, allowing the user to access needed info instantly. You will soon see how it alters time and space by changing the relationships between its users. Firstly, with the barcode, store managers have a standardized system for tracking their inventories and item prices. The system gives managers data which they can analyze to increase their profits and reduce waste. For instance, data gathered by the barcodes can show which items tend to sell quickly, as well as those that are relatively unpopular. The barcode eliminates space and the old practice of needing to physically check the stock. Now managers can change their stock orders according to past data. Also, with barcode scanning, sales assistants and consumers no longer have to physically travel along aisles or back to storage rooms to check stock levels or to find a particular product.
Secondly, the UPC alters time by reducing checkout time. Cashiers in stores that utilize UPC scanners stop manually entering prices and instead begin passing a scanner over each item.
Business owners can change the price of product in real time without placing a new price tag on each item. This is great news for the barcode users since it decreases the cost of having to hire more staff and helps maximize profit and the number of products that the store can sell. It's true checkout is now quicker, but consumers are less engaged in the process by not being able to read a barcode themselves. The UPC also initially eliminated the use of numerical price tags, preventing consumers from knowing prices of the item right away. This shows how the UPC distances the consumer even further away from the manufacturer. As you can see, the UPC speeds up production and provides convenience to those who utilize it. It not only alters people's understanding of time and space, but also the culture of production consumption. Despite many positive attributes of the UPC barcode, it faced a position leading to conflicts and anxiety among the retail publics, which were intensified by the way UPCs can alter tradition, pre-existing norms. The most widespread anxiety around the adoption of the UPC is the general concession that computers make mistakes.
Barcodes are a staple of nearly every retail store imaginable, plus most warehouses and shipping companies use them to track item purchases, inventory, encode location data, ID numbers, and other data components. They are so common that they have become nearly unnoticeable, but most have no idea that barcodes are a relatively recent development that was initially invented to track railroad cars across the United States. Most barcodes at retail stores are what are considered linear barcodes, which are a series of lines and spaces. However, there are also 2D barcodes that incorporate other geometric shapes such as squares and rectangles. The QR codes, which have become popular on smartphones and tablets, are a development of these 2D barcodes. The barcode was first invented in 1951 and patented in the United States by Norman Woodland and Bernard Silver. The inventors were heavily inspired by Morse code, which had long been used in telegraph applications and military applications to transmit communications via a series of dots and dashes. Like many inventions, it took many years for the concept to really take hold. Most don't know that one of the first applications for the barcode was on U.S. freight railroads in the late 1960s. Essentially, this early railway system involved placing a placard on the side of rail cars with a barcode, which constituted an ID number. As railroad cars entered and exited rail yards and other railway facilities, the scanners would...
I feel like yours is a trend for bragging about trend. Now let's imagine that the major is Oh, has access to the multiverse. Let's just say that multiverse exists. The Major has access to it, and she uses the databases of the internet to travel between two different dimensions of time, places of time, in the same space. Now, how would the Major use UPC codes from that were invented by the IBM guys, and used for the groceries in your pantries, and in your fridge? And how would the Major how would this scene look if we were looking at this building in a motion picture where the scene is happening in more than one dimension of time on parallel space-time branches in a multiversal setting kind of thing. So she's a looper. Let's say she's a looper attacker, and she's going to they're having a big meeting about something, and she wants to spy or attack on this big meeting. Um, you know, in different locations across space time. Um, but these guys and they all shop across the multiverse. Now they've got different they've got different oodles and noodles in there. How would she be able to determine, or how could she better navigate across those different multiverse settings, that same building but in 5 different space-time branches? How could it be easier for her to reconcile and travel better using data, of course, and able to do her jump thing, do her scan before the jump thing. If these people that work in this building, this one setting, the location, are off and about, and let's say they buy different flavors of oodles and noodles, and she's looking for a specific version of the meeting, and she needed to say use the UPC codes from the IBM guys in the 70s so that she can identify the correct version of the meeting based on the easily accessible information to her from the Oodles of Noodles database. So she'd be scanning for data, and along with smartphone and device data, which these people now will all be holding, all of these people in this building. Now everyone's carrying, at least a smartphone with them, whereas they wouldn't have had that. They wouldn't have had that in the 70s. Now they have that. But aside from the human now that's carrying the smartphone with them at all times around the venue. Now you have to look. She needs those markers for the multiversal cues, the different credit card transactions. So she would need to scrape all your credit card transactions to a different API database called "Fuck You." We're taking everything, and so that we can cheat better and not get caught. And so she would scrape a table that ingests all these people's credit card information, so they can multiverse. They can find these people in the multiverse to cross, so she can find the correct version of the building she's looking for by their credit card transactions, and then also in the pantry up there where the correct version of the Oodles of Noodles is, which will have that nice version of the UPC code on it, of which she could use this viewing technology, which is now available to her. This I don't know, this synthetic interdimensional viewing device. She could use that to get to the appropriate place to be able to quickly acquire those UPC codes. And then, of course, on the comings and goings of the multiverse, for that, you would want a way to better easily version control this building where we're attacking. on the coming and going, the I/O, right? So you want your how you want to be able to handle the version controlling of the building itself across time. So you want better controls around effective controls. You're just putting effective controls over everything. That's not hard to process around the I/O of the building itself. In which case you would want more better controls in the waste management businesses. We're doing the I/O of the actual pantry products and any other items in your in this location, which would be sending UPC codes out where they were once in the location. So if you wanted to time travel across the multiverse to do this kind of thing on a location, you would want that kind of you would want all those things, especially you would want to own some waste management businesses, so you probably need some friends in wherever the fuck those companies are. But you would you would want all that if you were doing that. But so the UPC code from the IBA game, so it was a very good innovation for the checkout counter. And then expanded into other modern realms. The major can leverage for her multiversal travel, and which Hollywood can in the future use when they begin the process of creating movies and movie narratives that are more multiversal in nature, interactive and such like that. Because it's so enjoyable. Now, as far as the feasibility of these guys having, I don't even know what this is. Are they supposed to be like bifurcated functioning transhumanists? And the only way they figured out how to process data was to literally put it into their temples. But they still know how to buy nice robes. I didn't really like this movie. I thought it was bad. I think I don't remember why, but yeah, if you wanted to jump and do that, if you wanted to have that kind of a synthetic interdimensional viewing device, which was allowing you to handle multiversal travel through, an extra dimensions of space and time, you would want to own waste management companies, and you would want to leverage that UPC code technology in accordance with your multiversal tracking. And if you ever have jackfruit, it tastes just like juicy fruit, basically. It's like this. It's almost the same thing.